bring the chat up. I don't see anything that already happened, but I'll see what happens next. Okay, welcome back, everybody. We had a marathon, an ultra marathon session yesterday. And this one will be just a little bit less marathon because we had a couple speaker changes. So we have nobody left, but we have Leah Lund has moved to tomorrow. So we're going to have only 6 speakers plus me this time. And we'll try to have more breaks in between just because we're in bodies.
Right, we're in bodies.
And I just want to acknowledge, I'll talk more about it in my session after this, my short integration session, which I really recommend you come to because we're going to integrate what we've been getting. We've been getting so much that sometimes I feel like I'm not, when I've been talking to these people, I've been feeling like I'm not in my body some of the time. And I've heard things from speakers that I've interviewed many times that I have never heard before. And there's an energy that I haven't experienced before. And part of that is because we're more progressed in time. And part of that is because we are in an incredibly special day in time, Koach Nisan, the 28th of Nisan, which I'll talk more about after this call. But I just want everybody to know, I'm declaring this, I'm bringing this into our field, I'm bringing this into the space that we are drawing down and functioning through with that energy, which is the energy of bringing redemption home. Where is redemption first? Home, where's its first home? In you and in me. And that's what our speaker today, well, I'll introduce momentarily, Haya Baker, is here to help us do. It's her absolute specialty. In fact, one of the names that she uses to describe her work is Heart Homecoming. And it's really, it's beyond heart. It's all parts of us homecoming. Even the body is going to come home. The body is from a holier source than the soul. So I just want you to know, and I'm just going to, just another 30 seconds. I just want to say that I've been in the Geula, get rid of that beeping. I've been in the Geula train, let's say, and I guess the front car of the train, like we all are here, or at least in potential, for over 30 years. And I can tell you that the energy in the world, the openness of people, the receptivity, the level of consciousness, the level of intuition, the level of searching, and so much more, it's never been anything like this. The veil between spiritual and physical and heaven and earth is extremely thin. And we're just going through that final stage of birth. And every single person who comes online a little bit more is making it so much easier, smoother, faster. You're here for this. And every speaker here is like hand selected, obviously. I have exposure to a lot of people who have a lot to offer. The people that I choose to bring on, I bring on because for a reason. So as Haya, the guest right now, everybody here is here to help you activate the miraculous powers of your soul. So just have that intention. I know that this will be a lot about prayer, but take a second and just connect with yourself and, ask your source, all of our source, to be with you, and that you should be with you, because it works together, that you should be with you and be able to really receive not only what you're getting from the outside, but what's coming up, what's being activated, triggered, released, and revealed from the inside. And as we do that together, that it should just be harmonious, integrated, calibrated, extreme beautiful expansion with lovely, calm, peaceful grounding and integration and balance. And that's what we ask for. So without further ado, I'm very happy and excited to introduce you not only a healing expert, healer par excellence teacher, but a very close friend of mine, Haya Baker. Haya is a lifelong trailblazer of conscious evolution and the founder of Heart Homecoming and Divine Integration Healing. For several decades, she's been supporting individuals and groups to come home to their essence, to find God within a different kind of relationship, a relationship of love, a relationship of unconditional acceptance and support. That's the new relationship that we're here to integrate. See, God, imagine that you're in an abusive relationship and the person that you're with wants to change the relationship with all their being. And if you can't open and see the changes and step into them, the relationship is done. Now, I'm not saying that the relationship with God is an abusive relationship. God forbid, but it is a relationship that has a lot of trauma to it, and for many lifetimes. And Haya knows this better than many people. So she works with this. But we all know it, we all recognize it, we all experience it, we live it. So in order to step into a new relationship, we have to be willing to forgive the old relationship and to understand that something new is on the table. And that's what Haya's work is about. There are a lot of details, some of them she'll share on the call, but primarily that's what it is. And also before Haya, you start talking, or maybe you'll introduce us, I want to make sure that people don't miss the opportunity to pick up Haya's free gift. Like there's so much going on, it's easy to like lose focus and go on to the next thing. So she's offering a powerful meditation that you can just take home and start listening to. How do you recommend people? And that's on the speaker page underneath or on top of her bio. You can just go there.
It's a new one. It's a new meditation. So if you signed up to last year's meditation, this is a new one.
Beautiful. And do you have a recommendation as to how people should listen? Can they listen while they're sleeping? Do they have to be, they listen while they're working? Like sometimes we don't listen to things because we think we have to be like, have that real clear space.
It's a very short meditation, so you won't have trouble finding time for it.
Okay, cool.
At least a couple times a week. It's very short. In fact, that's why I made a new one. I wanted to make it short and sweet.
What is your intention? Like when you do this, I just have to tell you guys something. I'm sorry. I have an irresistible urge to talk about Haya. We need to hear her talk. I met Haya in Israel. First, she reached out to me online when I was back, I don't know, 2010, 2011. Yeah, when I first started doing summits, more or less. And I met her and I was like, whoa, why aren't you famous? And
I don't want to be famous.
Well, you're getting more famous, but whatever. Maybe that's one reason why you're not famous, or weren't. But anyway, her work is super powerful. And she and a couple of other amazing women started to support me in the background when I was doing summits, to just support the energy and the people and do healing in the background. And I could tell when Haya came on, even though we were only audio, there was no video then. I always could tell. I felt it immediately in my body, and I actually named it the Haya effect. So I'm sure we're going to start to feel the Haya effect as soon as Haya starts talking, because that's how it works with her. And without further ado, thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much, Shifra Hendrie. I don't want fame, but you know what I do want? I want each of you to find your own glory. To find your own glory in your connection to your authentic self, and in your connection to our Creator who dwells within and infinitely without. And that infinity is actually hidden within us, within each of us. We don't have to look any further. And that's what I want. That's what I want for each of you. So let's reach inward, especially in these times. I think we're practically being forced to reach inward during these very confusing times, where most of the institutions which we relied upon look like they're crumbling.
Yes.
Some of them are. Some of them are actually crumbling. And it makes you feel insecure. It makes you feel like running for safety. Only what we're meant to be doing is not running, but coming home to where we belong inside, coming home to our authentic selves, coming home to the part of us that knows what a healthy relationship is supposed to be. And that's what I'm going to ask you to ground in today, because that's our future. And that was our past. Before we were, so to speak, insulated from that kindness of that presence of God that was revealed, that light that was revealed through all of us. And we all know that. You can see it in the eyes of babies when they're first born. They're still aware of that light.
So true.
They haven't been hidden from it, and it hasn't been hidden from them. I want to give you an analogy. Since the 1960s, perhaps, we all started wearing tennis shoes and rubber soles. We all got a little bit disconnected from the earth. Even our tiles, the tiles in our homes are covered with polymers. they also insulate us from the ground.
Mm.
And that has had a really deleterious effect on our health. We've all been experiencing one or another level of chronic inflammation in our bodies, especially as we age and we no longer can renew through connection to the earth. And this is a really good fractal for what has happened to us over the generations from the time of our fall from Eden. And that fall was part of a plan, because it's all about finding our way home from within in a
And
way that we will never forget again. We will never forget that way home.
so
Did-
I don't want you to lose your train of thought at all, but if it fits, I would really like you to explain just a little bit about what happened. Like I've mentioned this maybe once online, I don't remember, but when I asked you once to explain like what the path is back to Geula, and you talked about how the veil of shame came down on people and how we separate from God. I would love it if you could explain that a little bit, because it's really true. And I've been working with it for several years. And that
What-
whatever it is inside of us now. And we need to keep
Yes,
whatever we need
yes.
to.
That veil of shame is something universal. We all experience it, and we're all meant to work with it. And we'll get to how we do that in just a moment. But first, I want to go back to what Sarah Judith Schneider was saying in one of the first interviews yesterday, a mesmerizing interview. She was talking about how this shame is the what did she say? Wait a second, I just lost my train of thought. I can't recall exactly. So maybe I'm not meant to go down that path right now. Maybe I'm meant to go down the path that I was originally on, which is how we work with that, how we work with this shame, which is universal. That's the veil that came down upon us. Oh, and I remember Sarah Judith Schneider said something about shame coming from the diminishment
Oh, of the ego, right?
of the ego. And that's exactly what happened when we fell from Eden. Is our ego is diminished. We no longer recognized who we were. We no longer recognized our glory as the beloved of our Creator, as partners in creation with our Creator, as temples, as living temples for our Creator, living sanctuaries, living Mishkan, living Beit Mikdash for our creators. We no longer recognize that. And our bodies were diminished. We had bodies of light, and we were diminished into 3D bodies of flesh, which we don't recognize in their glory.
So originally the bodies shown, reflected, expressed the divine source, and then after the fall they hit it.
Exactly.
It's been tough.
It's been so tough. Oh my goodness. It's been so tough. And it's expressed itself in multi-generational trauma. Ever since we lost our connection to who we really are, that's where the malfunctioning began, according to Rabbi Kook. As soon as we lose touch with ourselves, that's where the malfunction is. And the return to ourselves is, in effect, the return to our Creator and to all the glory of being a child, a partner with our Creator, all the glory of being that sanctuary, a living, breathing sanctuary for our Creator, is something that we are destined, and we have no choice but to rediscover. And this time, it will be undeniably recognizable within each and every one of us. And we can get a little fractal of that today. And I'm sure that you have been doing this ever since you were born, searching for that inner glory, searching for that inner spark. I got a glimpse of it in my past life. I'm sorry, also in a past life, in my near-death experience. I got a glimpse of that. As a child, I left my body during a severe illness, and I saw the sparkle in every aspect of life, on earth and beyond, and especially in the souls of human beings.
Mm.
But it was also in the rocks and the trees and the grass and the air and the moisture in the air and all of the atmosphere and, and everything beyond and every subatomic particle. I saw all that. I came back to earth, and I was called to find it again. And that has been my life mission, to find it again in every aspect of life and to bring it to the fore.
Why do you think it is that it's so hidden from us? I mean, I have my own, I know the theories, I know, and I understand the darkness, the light is in the darkness, but when you came back from that experience, did you ever feel frustrated and like, where is it? Why did it go away? How can I get it back? And talk to God about that. Anything you're willing to share.
Well, I see now, Gabriela, you're mentioning yesterday that you're mentioning that Shifra spoke with, I think it was also with Sarah Yodit Schneider, about how Ruach HaKodesh is the opposite of the shame. And that's exactly where we're going. We're going towards Ruach HaKodesh, and this time it'll be earned. It'll be something that it'll be trailblazing to that.
Mm.
And it becomes embedded in our souls when we find it ourselves and not have it given to us on a silver platter from Eden. This is about learning to monitor our own, not just thoughts, but to regulate ourselves on some very deep levels. And it really has to do with learning how to listen to something you said yesterday regarding Mozart, that Mozart said that the music is in the space between the notes.
I don't think I said that.
Well, you didn't?
Someone else
Somebody
said-
did.
Yeah, somebody said it.
Somebody else said that. But that's what we're learning to do. And that's how we regulate ourselves. And that's how we reclaim Ruach HaKodesh, the spirit of holiness that is a forerunner for prophecy. We come to that ability for self-regulation that comes through life. It cannot be acquired on a silver platter. We have to be able to deal with life as it comes toward us, as we come towards it, and find the meaning of the moment, as Dr. Viktor Frankl taught. Every moment has a new calling for us. Life calls out to us. Without meeting life where it is, without meeting ourselves where we are, we won't know the path to holiness. And we won't know the path to emotional and physiological regulation, which we need so much, especially in this day and age when we're so disconnected. I started with a disconnection from earth. It's all about coming back to that too. Disconnection from earth is part of this syndrome of disconnection from who we are and disconnection from God. I want to emphasize something, make something really clear. We can ground in earth. We must ground in earth for our health and for our renewal and for discarding inflammation and discarding obsessive emotional patterns. We must ground to earth as part of our healing.
Why? What
But
happens? Just explain what happens when you ground.
when you ground to earth, but before I go further into that, let me just tell you, God is not earth. God manifests in earth. We cannot ground physically to God. We must ground with our whole entire being to God. And how do our sages explain grounding to God? Vatem hadvekim b'Hashem Elokechem chayim kulchem hayom. those of you who cleave unto Hashem, your God, are alive, are fully alive today. That's what we're striving for. How do we cleave to Hashem? How do we cleave to God, who's not physical? With our whole entire being, including our physicality. How do we do that? Our sages explain we cleave to Hashem's attributes, Hashem's kindness. And our sages express this specifically. They say, how do we do it? We know Hashem is merciful. We have to connect to the mercifulness of Hashem. And that is the way we ground in Hashem, through the attributes of Hashem's mercy. Mahorachum af ata rachum. As Hashem is merciful, you be merciful. That is how we cleave to Hashem and ground in the foundation of Hashem's relationship with us. Because we intuitively know that that is a healthy relationship. And everything else is just an illusion. Everything else is just a mask. Everything else is just insulating us from the true relationship that we have with Hashem. It's getting beyond that installation.
I must say
Yeah.
something what you said before about, I don't remember exactly how you said it. You said you can't get it on a silver platter. And I
Yeah.
just got a visual which is very clear that the light in the Garden of Eden, the original light, was coming from above, from outside, and there was no obstacle to it. So Adam and Eve could freely, live without fear. They could live without death, etc. And then with the fall and the shame and whatever, we developed a different body, and that was cutting us off from our source, and therefore we have to leave the planet, or we've had to leave the planet in order to get fresh starts. But this idea of the light,
The body doesn't cut us off. The body does not cut us off from the source. The body connects us to our source. It's when we
but
lose
according to Chassidus, the body, being in a body, keeps you from being able to fully see the godly.
Oh, because that may be changing now. That's what I.
It may be,
Could it
definitely
be?
has to be changing, because the body comes from a higher source. I just want to say the other part of this, though, because what you really sparked this image that might be really helpful. That's the light from the outside, and the light that we are getting through our own work. Like when I asked you, I was thinking when you were talking about the sparkle in your near-death experience, like how my initial thought was how harsh to take that away from us, if that's the reality. And then, that's why I asked you the question. Now I'm seeing that that I already, which I knew, but it's a much clearer visual, that when we get triggered or challenged or whatever, and we go inward, we draw out that light, that same light that was shining, as you say, on a silver platter, but we draw it out from the inside. And that's why it can't leave us ever, because it's already ours. We've just been cut off from it.
Exactly. I couldn't put it better myself. Shifra Hendrie, can you repeat that once again, please?
That when we are triggered and we go inside, instead of reacting or denying or hiding or projecting or fragmenting or suppressing, we connect, as you say, to our bodies, through our bodies, to our deeper self, and that allows us to make a connection to that divine light, which Adam and Eve in the garden were seeing around them, but were not activating from within them. They didn't need to. That's the hidden light. That is the hidden light. That's called the light that is superior to the light in the darkness, that's superior to the light that's not in darkness, because it's, as you say, and I'm just getting sparked by you. So that light is coming from our own essence. We carry God's essence, but it's extremely hidden. And so that light, it's those challenges that force us to dig in and connect deeper and integrate something like shameful, fearful, whatever, that we weren't in touch with. And that makes a channel to that inner light. Now, a piece of that light from our own essence, which is the same essence as God's essence, is shining through our conscious self. Thank you for facilitating that. I finally got clear on how to. Thanks.
Thank you, Shifra Hendrie. That's it in a nutshell. And now we can start experiencing that. We have to reconnect to Mahurachum Afatarachum. As he is merciful, you be merciful. And we do this starting with ourselves. And that is the grounding in Hashem's attribute of mercy that we so need. And it's a good idea to do it while you're grounding into nature, into all the beauty and splendor that Hashem created in nature, and into the soil of the earth, because that's where we really renew our bodies, is being connected to something alive, either the soil itself, which is alive if it's not been sprayed and abused, or to something growing from the earth, from the actual soil of the earth, not in a potted plant, unless it's grounded, but actually holding a plant that's growing from the earth, leaning against a tree, not in synthetic clothing, but in natural fibers, leaning against that tree, touching the leaves of the tree. That will ground you. And it's a great way to renew your spirit as well, not just your body. Your body will discard inflammation. It will discharge inflammation as you ground into the earth and with plants, by touching plants, either with your feet, with your hands, with any part of your body. But this is what we're doing when we ground in the mercy of Hashem, when we ground in that ideal relationship that we all know is true. It cannot be denied any longer. And we bring that mercy home towards ourselves. We ground in the milieu of the Garden of Eden, the one we've been searching for. It's inside us, and we know what it is. As you bring that recognition of a healthy relationship and what that's about, because you know what's missing when it is. You know it. You deserve that healthy relationship. Cleave to that. Cleave to that within your relationship with God. And bring that kindness towards yourself. And ask yourself what God asked Adam, where are you? Where are you in this moment? Notice any sounds around you. Connecting to our environment is a great way to ground ourselves physically, especially if we're touching the earth. But we can even imagine it if we're not actually grounded in the earth. We can imagine it as we listen to the sounds around us and notice the support beneath our bodies. Notice how that affects our bodies, that feeling of support. That's part of a healthy relationship. That's part of an Eden relationship. That's support. Notice how that feels inside you. Isn't that what you want in an ideal relationship? To be able to support yourself and one another. To be supported, to allow you to support your loved ones and to feel their support. Yeah. Notice the sense of support beneath your body and how it affects you. Notice the sensation within your body. That's a great way to reconnect to God. And now remember something good about yourself. We all have goodness. We all have authentic goodness inside us. Even when we're not perfect, and we're never perfect, we're still essentially good and seeking goodness within ourselves and within our relationships. We seek to bring goodness to the pain of our relationships and to the pain within us. That makes us goodness seekers. We become lightning rods for goodness. Find that place in your body that feels like a lightning rod for goodness, for godness. Find that place inside you and breathe through it. And notice what happens. Notice something? You notice that? Yeah. How would you describe what's happening in your body as you connect to lightning rod for goodness inside you? The one that recognizes it and seeks it out. Yeah. And now notice if there's any place inside you that's a little bit uncomfortable, maybe still in Egypt, Mitzrayim, constriction. Parts of us are still coming out of Egypt. Find a place inside you that needs to come out of Egypt. That's what these weeks after Passover are all about. Till we reach Sinai. Every day in these 7 weeks, new parts of us are emerging from Egypt. The Egypt we carry with us since the fall. The constrictions that are so part of our lives. Let's bring some compassion. Remember, Mahurachum Afatarachum. Just as God is merciful, so you be merciful. It's that compassion for our human condition. Don't fight it. Don't fight it. It's not possible to fight the human condition. It's only possible to embrace it. Embrace ourselves within it. Embrace each other within it with so much love and understanding. Even if we disagree on basic tenets of society, let's embrace each other through this human condition, starting from ourselves within. Yeah. When we stop fighting the human condition, we stop fighting each other. And we settle into a very deep place of compassion. Find that in your body. Find that place that needs compassion in your body. That may be screaming even louder. Yeah. That place in you that needs extra tender, loving care. What is it screaming? What is it calling for? It's calling for relief. It's crying out for safety. It's crying out for sustenance, for reconnection. Hear that call with compassion and understanding. And know that Hashem, your creator, is hearing every call of your heart and is helping you through this human condition every moment. As you learn to re-regulate your body, your mind, your spirit, your emotions, not by fighting them, but by compassionately embracing them. They'll come into re-regulation as we embrace them, accept them with love. Isn't that what we're missing? And notice what happens in your body as you breathe through those tight spaces inside with love, with the love, the light, and the unconditional acceptance that comes through every divine breath. You don't have to earn your next breath. Allow it to come. Notice any constriction in your breathing and just pay attention to it with curiosity and compassion. And notice how your body addresses this automatically without any effort. It discharges stress and inflammation into the ground and renews your reconnection to the energy of Earth and to the love, compassion, and life of your Creator. Yeah, this is inner Torah, Norman. This is inner Torah. You recognize it. We all recognize truth, don't we? Your body recognizes truth. You bring love and compassion to your body. It comes alive. Don't fight the human condition. Don't fight your own emotions. Don't fight your own sadness, anger, worry. Embrace them all. Even obsessive thought, try embracing them, especially with your feet planted in the soil. It's pretty hard to hold on to obsessive thoughts when you're doing that. What regulation is beginning to happen inside your body as you embrace what is with love? And as soon as you're ready, feel free to tap your toes and your fingers and give yourself a hug. And you might even want to add some tapping to that to connect the two hemispheres of your brain. As you come back to be here and now with all that love in your heart. Doing this on a regular basis can improve almost all your relationships. And it helps to set boundaries with people who don't know how to regulate themselves. And send them lots of love also along with those boundaries. Ah. Any questions?
I have a question, but I don't know if you're going to be able to answer it. Can I ask it?
Sure. I love questions, even if
It's sort of personal. I mean, when at some point in this healing, I saw the inside of myself in like almost visually, like the bottom of my round inside core. And I could see that it was like there's something like a little bit arid desert in there that it's lacking approval, no matter how much approval I get or give myself. I hope this isn't overly vulnerable. I don't feel vulnerable. I'm very curious, like if you know why that is. I know that you've created complete healing miracles, which by the way, you guys just go to the speaker's page and check out just a few of her, just a drop in the bucket of Haya's testimonials, and she's healed herself of all kinds of crazy stuff also. But what is that? Like what is it that, and like I said, you don't have to know the answer, but what is it that would keep something from filling up? And is that then that we would embrace that blockage, like that question, what is keeping you from filling up? And then we just embrace that with love. Like, is it just like whatever comes on the screen, you just love it?
Exactly. But you don't love it in a way of, see, there are two ways of loving what is. One is a healthy way and one is a not healthy way. A not healthy way of loving what is to accept anything that comes your way and just say, oh, okay, I'll accept it. Bring it on. You know, I spent a lot of my early adulthood doing that. Just saying, okay, bring it on. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about, for now, this is how it is. And how can I love myself from within how it is for now? I had something very minor happen today in my gardens. I was gardening today. I noticed that there was a swarm of wasps.
Well,
and I didn't know what to do. I knew that fighting the wasps would probably make them aggressive. So I tried a different way, and they left. But what I had to do is accept the wasps are here, and they're here for a reason. There's something for me to learn about this encounter with a swarm of wasps. And that's what I want you to bring love to the learning experience. Not acceptance of abuse. We don't want human wasps to sting us. We want to avoid that. We want to set boundaries. But what we do want is to embrace ourselves within every learning experience and embrace those around us, even misguided people, so as to help them come home to who they really are in a way that's effective for healthy relationships.
Including healthy relationship with yourself and Hashem, which is right what we're focusing on most. So looking at it from the learning experience model, which Sarihud had also really talked about that as the revolving sword, the Klipat Noga, that we our personal free space where we get to be people and explore and make decisions without knowing for sure what the answers are, what the right answers are. I'm feeling as you're saying this, and I'm looking at that space inside myself. This is like the core shame that Adam and Eve had. It's like a black hole that came from the snake. It's cosmic, that we're never enough. There's something wrong.
Exactly.
Irrational. It's super rational black hole thing. So I'm thinking, as you're saying, learning that it's not just embracing it physically in the body, but it's asking, what is the divine purpose for this? What could that be? And listening for that. And I think maybe that way we bring the light into that space, because it wouldn't be stuck. It wouldn't be staying there. We wouldn't have stuck places if there wasn't learning for us to do. Right? I think that's what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. And I see on the chat people talking about admitting that it's painful and uncomfortable to go through these learning experiences.
Yeah.
And that's really important, because I think that when we toughen up and we don't admit the pain that we're going through these somewhat painful learning experiences, there's no way for us to actually come towards ourselves with that compassion that we so need in order to grow. And so I think you're right, Shifra, and I think you're right in your wonderful audience here.
Yeah, it's next level. The Zoom chat is next level to the summit.
And that's really what's missing. And it doesn't conflict with what you teach, Shifra Khana. You
No,
teach
not
it,
at all.
and in fact, I see you, and maybe I'm wrong, but I see you as my teacher of Torah and a modeler of what it means to step up.
Thank you.
And stepping up, it does not contradict. Am I right, Shifra Khana? Does not contradict being in that compassionate stance towards the difficulty of that stepping up.
Yeah, Haya is saying it very graciously. It does not contradict being freaked out, scared, self-abusive.
Oh, no, not that.
Like one moment you're uplifted and the next moment you're like, where am I? What planet am I? Why am I doing this? This is crazy. I need help. Yeah, it's yeah.
Not self-abuse. We don't encourage that. But we don't want to be compassionate with
It's not about encouraging it. It's not about encouraging it. We're going to be with what it really is. And self-abuse can even be saying there's some, it's self-abusive. Forget about eating, drinking, hitting, whatever. Self-abuse is when we say, what's wrong with you to yourself. Self-abuse is when we say you shouldn't be doing this. It could even be self-abuse. Yesterday, Deborah Poneman said the whole summit's been so amazing, and this is just astounding, Haya, to start this way. And I don't want to end with that. I want people to know I'm going to, if we can work out the time, I want to bring Haya back next week on my live stream. So if you're not on my YouTube, if you're not subscribed to Shifra Hendrie YouTube channel, you should do that, because I'm doing, not this week, but I'm doing mostly daily live streams for right now anyway. And we'll go more deeply into these processes and, all of it. I just realized we have to keep this. It's such an intense schedule. We can't possibly get everything out. But I think that this idea that there's this autoimmune thing that the snake embedded in each of us, where there's this cosmic feeling, whether it's conscious or not conscious, background or foreground, that can get triggered. That's what's there when we get triggered of something's wrong with me, and that we have to earn our keep. You've just been speaking into this and saying, no, we don't. No, we intrinsically deserve. I don't even like that word, because that implies that you could also not deserve, but everything that you're saying about the new relationship. And
we intrinsically are.
We intrinsically are. Right. Right. Yeah. So I think seeing these things as this is the ultimate, like we have the great awakening, this is the great detox of the snake.
Exactly. I love it.
There's this process, and I wasn't thinking about it, and I wasn't aware of it till we got into the session that you just did with us, which, if people didn't notice, it's a group healing session. That's when I saw it all of a sudden. And I'm like, what is this? And then take it a step farther and realize that I get to explore what is the purpose of this black hole thing that human beings experience. And we're here to unwind. Like we have God's essence in us. It's our core. The Tanya says without a question that we are a chelik elokam mamish, we're literally a piece of God. Literally.
Literally,
Essence.
literally.
You can't subdivide essence. So it's not like I'm a little piece. Everybody is. I mean, radical to say the words, but you know what I mean.
Exactly. Rav Kook says it when we deny our essence, we're denying God, and as soon as we connect to our essence, we have connected to God.
Yes, yes. It's the one essence. The Rebbe says this is the one essence, and this seems to be the work that brings us closer and closer to that, so that we can move out of, or not out of, but move even beyond being God's children or subjects and actually be God's intimate partner. That comes essence to essence. I'm paraphrasing the Rebbe when I say that. So before we, it's not enough time, but we will resume. Please.
Very
God.
deep, Shifra Hendrie, very, very deep. I
Um,
appreciate what you're saying.
Well, you're the one who brought us there. So can you please just give us a really quick, like 1 minute explanation of the program, that the course you're offering starting the end of April, just in case people want to check it out now? It's
very soon, within a little over a week. I'm teaching a 4-week course intensive on this. This is what we're going to be learning. And we're going deeper than the last course. If anybody took my prior courses, we're always going deeper.
Yeah,
I'm always learning new things, as you know, Shifra Khan, and as you learn all the time. Right? We're always going deeper. All of your speakers are going deeper.
Everybody here is the soul tribe is going deeper. Everything's going deeper. Humanity is going deeper. Cosmos is going deeper.
Exactly. I can see that in the chat. I mean, such depth and such understanding. I'm learning from you. So thank you. Yeah. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do this. We're going to practice it. We're going to meditate. We're going to have live coaching and learn more and more about how to apply these principles. And new things will open up every week within us, around us, just as you, each and every one of you, are always rediscovering that new horizon within.
Somebody asked, where is the link? The link is always here. I'm posting the link, but the link is always on, always on the speaker page that has the schedule, like you got on that page to get on the Zoom. If you click on the speaker's picture, you'll get their bio. If you don't click on their picture, you'll get the Zoom, the time of the talk, and the title, maybe a little blurb. If you click on their picture, you'll get their bio, the free gift, if there is one, and if they have some kind of course, not everybody does, but some do, you get that as well. And these are all special offers for our community. So
thank you so much for everyone who came and joined us and helped enrich our experience and teach us from your wisdom and your opening horizons within.
Yeah.
Can you send me the chat, please? I want to review all this.
Yeah, David has to send it to me. I'm planning to send it to the speakers because it's too phenomenal not to. Okay, so yes, I'll just, sorry for being so informal, but somebody asked about, since we're communicating, Shauna, anybody that has a tech problem, if you bought the 30-minute session, then email David, webmaster@thegateofunity.com, because he deals with that, and we'll make sure that you get your email. And just by the way, we capped out I meant to cap out at 20, but while I was talking, we ended up with 50. So now we have a waiting list, and I just think it's a sign of who you guys are. Like, so many of us are ready to step across that line and are doing that, and that's so awesome. Haya, thank you so much, so much.
Thank you.
But we'll talk about a time to resume after the summit.
Okay, wonderful.
Okay.
And every word you said was full of wisdom. Even when I was about to confront something that you said, now when I think about it again, you were so spot on. So everybody listen to this and listen to what Shifra Khan said.
Yep.
Thank
Haya
you.
and I have theological debates sometimes. It always ends up just being two different perspectives,
Which meet. They always meet.
Yeah, they always meet. Okay. Elu ve'elu, divrei Elokim Chaim. When it comes to godliness, every valid perspective is also true. And there's something in the middle that encompasses and unites all. Okay, I gotta go. We have 4 minutes break, and then I'll be back for integration, and don't miss it. And then we have another 4 amazing speakers for you.
Yeah, can't wait to hear them. Bye.
Bye.